And before I go into, I guess DJ and Lady P are not here today. Am I right?
They are actually listening in. They are here.
Yeah, I'm here,
okay,
but
okay.
it's a bit
Okay.
where I am.
Okay, just to acknowledge you and Lady P, so I'm just acknowledging you. Okay, thank you. So I'm just gonna recap on what we've done so far. What I've tried to show you is meta skills, and meta skills, they are high-level skills that you need to enhance your soft skill. And last week we were looking at self-management. There are 3 elements of your meta skills. Self-management, which I dealt with last week, and I gave you a presentation that you can go and look, and some reflective questions that could help you to start developing those skills, and quiz that can help you assess where you are. Today we'll be looking at social intelligence, and next week we'll be looking at innovation. So those are the 3 areas of meta skills that we'll be looking at. You've got access to my presentation. So my screen is full. Okay, let me see. Why is this frozen? Are you hearing me? Okay, now. Okay. So really today, all I want to try and do is for you to understand and be able to develop your social intelligence skills. I'll be focusing on the 4 elements of social intelligence, and that is communication, empathy, collaboration, and leadership. And we'll also be looking at how those skills support your technical and soft skill within the ICT field. So to bring this into context, I want you to understand that in today's landscape, your technical skills is already competing with AI. AI is taking the place of technical expertise. However, your social intelligence is what will distinguish you as an individual. And a lot of employers are now looking more for how you are able to connect with other people, how you are able to lead, how you are able to communicate, how you are able to understand people's feeling. They are yet to be able to get AI to be able to do that. So for us as individuals, we need to distinguish ourselves with our social intelligence skills. So that is why it is important. So I'm going to move into the 4 elements of social intelligence. And they are listed here, but I'm going to take them one at a time to give you some information about it, just bite-sized information on it. So the first thing is communication. Communication, normally in soft skill, one of our soft skill is communication. But in this context of meta skill, is where you are taking ownership of making sure that whatever information you are passing it clearly. You are not doing anything that would distort the understanding of the message. So you take ownership that whoever you are passing this message to, they are able to understand exactly what you are trying to say. Why is this relevant in ICT? You are having to deal with diverse type of people, your team member, your stakeholders, and diverse clients. And as developers, you may need to explain complex technical issues in simple terms to non-technical clients. And these are things that you need to develop. And we have to understand that as people that probably like myself think in a different language and you have to converse in another language, you can harness your communication skills by working on those things and bringing them to your forefront. The more you do them consciously, the better you become unconscious in doing them. So there is an example there, like a software engineer that is working on a new feature. They may need to communicate the benefits to the marketing team, so they are having to speak a different language to make sure the marketing team understand the concept. They're speaking to potential users as well to be looking at things from their perspective. So you need to use storytelling to help you to translate technical abilities into languages that people will understand. And the main thing that you will be doing here in communication is your ability to listen, to focus on understanding what you are getting from your audience, that is your client, or it could be your team member, and your own ability to tell story, to create examples that will make people be able to relate to what you're passing to them. Then, given the information, making sure that you're giving concise, precise information that they need to say. So, I struggle with that in my career because I'm very witty in use of words. But thank God to AI these days, I'm able to write things and I ask AI to simplify it for me. And that is also improving. So there are lots of things to help us in communication, and we are blessed with the virtual world in which we work. So you can use a lot of aids to make you do this more effectively. So that communication side, I want to encourage everyone to spend more time and understand that. Now, empathy. I want to give an analogy for us to understand difference between sympathy and empathy. And I'm not patronizing you. Sometimes people do get that confused. If someone drops into a well, somebody with sympathy are likely to say, yeah, oh dear. And out of that shock, if care is not taken, they may also fall into the same well. But someone with empathy will come and say, oh, how did you do that? Oh, how are you feeling? Calm down, calm down. Let me go and get help for you. Let me go and do that. So they are never going to be entering the same boat with you. They're just going to facilitate you achieving your goal. So that's the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy tends to take over the role as if they are the person. He opens up other things in them, so they are not able to be objective in the situation. Whereas when you are using empathy, you are looking at it from that, you take yourself completely out of it and you're trying to help the other party. So that's the difference between sympathy and empathy. I hope with that understanding, you can go through with me when I'm explaining this. So it's your ability to understand others' perspective. So when you are in a meeting and somebody is saying something, you are not processing your own response. You are thinking, I don't understand. What could they be trying to say? And verbalizing it rather than processing your own response to show that you know better or you can do better. No, it's what are they trying to say, and learn about from their own perspective, understand their need, what are they trying to get across, and then understand the emotions that may be going through with somebody that has just put them down. So there might be emotion, they may be in a situation whereby they are now getting very defensive to defend their role. So you need to be able to understand all those emotions. And this is very relevant in your ICT profession because you have to anticipate and address users. Sometimes you can see body language that shows I'm not even getting you, I'm lost here. So you need to be able to pick up all those things so that you can address your client's issue, you can address team members' issue, and it can foster good collaboration with all the people that you're working with. And this is always about your audience centered. You're centered around the users, around your client, and users could be your team members in this instance. So there's this example there. You can look at the example, but I'm going to be focusing on the three tips that are there. You're looking at it from user's perspective. So you are looking at the end user. So you are not the end user. Sometimes when we're choosing things, they're coming from our own, but we have to step out of that and know that we're looking at it from the user. Social conscience, is this acceptable? What impacts? Especially in this part of the world, we have different level of social conscience more than each other. Some people are not comfortable with you drinking in a pub when they know you're going to drive. They don't have that conscience to even be around you. So we all have different level. But at work, we have to understand what are the social conscience that need to be carrying, because sometimes we can take things with levity. I was a victim of one yesterday at work. They asked me, have you signed out? I'm normally supposed to sign out when I'm leaving because of fire. And I just said, yeah, I've signed out, even though I hadn't signed out. And then the lady said, when did you sign out? Sam, I didn't see that you were leaving today. So I just said, oh, let me check. And they saw it. I said, oh, maybe I signed out yesterday. I've not got over that. Why do I have to present myself like that for something so important? And that's how we can get casual with things. So it's about social conscience, listening with empathy. That is listening to help, to validate what the other person is saying, not necessarily to get your own point across. So when you are able to communicate effectively and you also use empathy in situation, this will automatically enhance your collaboration skills. This is the ability for you to work cooperatively with others and leveraging the collective skills that you all have, especially in this virtual world where we are all over the world, we're so global, we're so much globalized. And it's very relevant to you now because you work with multidisciplinary teams, you combine different level of expertise, and it's important that you're able to work across different cross-cultural area, remote teams, and ensure that member strength contributes to the project success. So the practical tips here are working on relationship building. I have to be honest that is something that I still struggle with. I don't play football. I don't drink. What else do people normally talk about? I don't play games, sports, and I don't drink, and I don't listen to music. So those three things that people always want to build relationship with me. Honestly speaking, I'm very poor at those three things. So really, I still have to connect with them on a personal and professional level. So I have to look at my own interests before they bring the common thing that they will do. And that's the way I'm getting by now. So you have to be honest that they are making the effort, but unfortunately, we are coming from a different perspective. So you have to find a common ground and you have to do the other work whereby you are communicating. I don't go on holiday to destinations that are not relevant to me. So I don't have those things to talk about. Team working. Focus on collective goals over your own individual accomplishment. So really, you may have your own individual goal, but let the team goal show that you are using empathy to understand the perspective where everybody else is coming from. And then cross-cultural competency. This is ability for you to develop an openness to different cultural perspectives, especially in a global team. I mean, a lot happens in the world now. Two ladies were getting married in my workplace, and that was the first time I was witnessing a lesbian wedding. And I didn't even know how to express. So I had to quickly go to Google and find out how can I show some support to these people, that kind of a thing. So these are things that we have to be conscious that we may have a barrier here, and we need to look at how we mitigate against that. So the last element, when you are able to communicate, you have empathy, and then you are able to collaborate effectively. Within a team, everyone is a leader, and there is the everyday leadership theme there. So the ability to inspire, you need to be able to inspire, motivate, and guide others. Remember that you are professional in what you're doing, and you're going to be dealing with people at different levels of understanding. So you would still need to guide your users. You may need to guide your colleague as well. And autonomy is increasing within the ICT sector. So every team member, you need to be able to lead. You need to have that skills to make informed decision, to motivate others, and to adapt to different projects that may be coming around to you. So there is an example there. I will ask you to look at David Marquette on YouTube and read about inspired leadership at all levels, and you will learn a lot from him. The practical tips here are inspiring others. So you have to try to inspire others. You have to try to inspire others, to influence them, and to develop others. So those are the 4 elements of social intelligence. Now, these are reflections that I've got for you, self-reflection, questions that you need to go and ponder on. You need to begin to see where you have gaps that you need to bridge. So that's question around communication that you can reflect on. I'm not going to read that because you got it on the slide. Empathy has got its own question to see how you've got through that and where you need improvement. And be very honest with yourself in terms of how you collaborate with others and leadership. We need to have this understanding, and this understanding should inform our responses for those that are aspiring for new jobs or those that are aspiring for promotional jobs. You need to be able to talk at this level, not just the basic level, but at a deeper level, to show connection and use those right words, those right keywords that at interviews and even in your job application. So in terms of social intelligence, it's essential for you as ICT professionals to complement your technical skills to ensure effective communication, empathy, collaboration, and leadership within the different kinds of environment that you work in. All these skills differentiate you from a robot, differentiate you from any form of artificial intelligence, and employers are now looking actively into that because they need people to be able to tell their story, people that will understand their clients, so that you can operate in this complex work, in this complex environment, and be able to interact with different type of stakeholders that will come your way. So the call to action for you today is, I just want you to consider which area of social intelligence that you know that you're lacking in, or the one that you know that, yes, I'm doing well, but I can improve on it. Be honest to yourself and begin to look at making intentional effort to improve on it, because this is now. It's not about the future. It is all happening now. And it's so interesting that that was what you were talking about. I've got a quiz, so let me escape this. So at the foot of this presentation, if you look at the foot for yourself, you'll see that the social intelligence quiz is there. The quiz will help you to assess where you are. It's just a guide. You can go through things yourself and beyond. You might even answer the question correctly because you have the head knowledge, but this is not about the head knowledge. This is about the reality that you are facing. So that's my presentation today. I think I'm improving on a week-to-week basis. Last week I was 1 minute over, and this week I'm finishing at 23 parts. So thank you. I hand you over back to Olawumi. Any question? I'm happy to take questions. I've got another 6 minutes.
Thank you so much for that delivery. I also learned a lot in it. So just to reconfirm, I always like to reconfirm things. That's yes. The link that has the elevate your social media now is. I'm so sorry. The link that's, I wanted to check the link that you said for the quiz, rather. The social intelligence quiz, rather, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The link that I sent is to this presentation.
Yeah. I'm on the link too. I'm on the link for the presentation.
Yes,
So
and the fruits of
what
it.
you look at is the social intelligence one, right?
Yes, the one that you can look at the meta, because we've done the meta skills and the soft skill, you can look at that. But for this week, the one that you need to be assessing is the social intelligence quiz. They're all different quizzes. Like,
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, hi, Miracle.
Hi, Sash. Thank you for this
hello,
wonderful lectures. I want to ask a question, but I'll give it as a scenario base.
yes.
Uh, when I was working in Nigeria, I had this uh, boss. He is someone I admire so much, someone I respect so much. The way he handles things at the office, the way he gets his job done, the way he achieves his goals. In fact, anything projects in the in that my department, they always give it to him to handle and to head the project side of it. But my problem with him is his his life after the office is really different from mine. I I I had to ask this question when you said you you were invited to a gay marriage, which you don't know what to do about it. And with that, he's the kind of person that loves drinking, he loves women, he loves opposite things I like, you understand? So with that, I couldn't really get much from him. But my friends that like similar things, they will take him for a drink or find a way to get him close to a nice thing so they can just, and with that, it will give them advice on how to improve their careers and other things. You understand? And with
Yes.
that, I couldn't really get much from him
Yes.
because I'm not that kind of a person, and he's not that kind of person you can really meet at work because he's really, really so busy at work. The only time you can meet him is after work.
Okay.
After working hours, that's the only time you can meet him. So if in that kind of scenario, what do you suggest I do if I come into if I had the opportunity to meet another person like that? What do you suggest?
Thank you, Michael. I'm sure a lot of people on this group would have faced that situation in different scenario. Yours was drinking. All of us would have faced it in that scenario. Now, prior to now, I, I would have said to you that I don't know how to solve that problem. But now there are three things that I know you could do to solve the problem. The first thing will be to actually let the person know that you really admire them and you want to be friendly with them, you want to get to know them outside of work, and you want to discover what common grounds you have to develop relationship that is not just work based but to know each other better. Tell him your interests and tell him his interest that you already know that you don't affiliate with it. You understand? But if there are compromises that you could make, for example, if I come out with you, I don't drink alcohol, but I'm okay to drink water and I'm okay to drink softs or mock cocktails. So you can mock cocktails. So you can have that conversation with him. Most people, when you are that honest, will come back and appreciate you. And you can then both agree on how to build it. That's one way to do it. And it's always best to do such things in person rather than in writing. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it in writing. The second way to do it this day is actually to go to those places and see what compromises you can make. I do not like going to pubs, but I've learned to go. But when I get there, all I'm thinking about is how I'm going to get her. What would be my excuse today in the past that will make me not enjoy being with people? But now I go, I decide the time I'm going to be leaving, and I make sure that I get involved in as many things that they are doing. And I come with my own thing that I want to do, that I want to share about myself to them. So I'm about, when I'm going to such places, it's like I'm going to do an exam today. And I go with that exam mindset to integrate myself. So that is what I do. That's the second thing. But the third thing that is later now is that most of you will know I've just developed a friend, and that friend is called Mr. Gemini Google. For those of you that don't know him, there is another one called Mr. ChatGPT. I go to them and I tell them my problem, and they are so good at telling me how to deal with it. So now, there as overreading the first two, I go to Gemini first now and say, this is my situation. How do I, even while I'm in the meeting, I want to do something, and I'll say, what do I do? And I get it because I am intentional about filling the gaps that I have. So it's my own gap, and I'm in this multicultural setting, and I have to fit in. So that is why someone like Kemi Badenoch could get where she is today, because she had to fit into where she is. Although she has cultural advantage that maybe she was here earlier in her life, that kind of thing. But some of us don't have that. But we're here, and some of us are going to be here for the rest of our life. So we have to begin to adapt, because if you end up in a home, you're still going to have to use social intelligence to relate with people. Otherwise, you keep quiet and your mouth will be smelling.
Yeah.
So that's my suggestion.
Thank you very much.
Does that help you, Miracle?
Yes, especially the first one. It's really helped.
Okay. The last one is easier now. The last one would include the first one. So when you put anything that you're struggling with, honestly speaking, go to Gemini and tell it that I'm thinking. And if it gives you a perspective that you don't like, tell it that I wouldn't want to do it that way. This is the way I want. And you can have that conversation. Honestly, for those of you that have not been using Gemini, you should go and try. I'm not being paid for Gemini, so I'm not promoting them. I'm not promoting Google.
Thank you, Sas.
Thank you.
Value added.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. That was insightful too. I think we all learn every day, honestly. It's
yes.
It's beautiful to listen to all this. I don't know if any other person has, and you cracked me up, by the way, when you said Mr. Google, Mr. Gemini.
That's just it. It's my friend, though. It's my very dear friend.
Very dear friend.
Yes. Mr. Gemini Google. This is Google's son. This is Google's son. So
okay.
Google is an old man now. And that's his son called Gemini.
Oh my God. Really, they help a lot. I was trying to do something too yesterday on Excel. I just asked Mr. Google, and Mr. Google resolved it in 1 second.
No, it's not Mr. Google, it's Mr. Gemini.
Okay.
Google is outdated. Google is outdated. If you're still asking Google, you are already out of date. So go to Gemini. That's where you have the question, and it's free. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know if anyone else has any other question. Anyone, please? Okay, I will take no as a good thing today too. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sas, for this. It's always good for us to hear this every day, because the mind just it needs to keep growing. So thank you for all you do. Thank you for your time with us. Thank you for the knowledge you're also passing on. I pray you're enriched more and more to be able to deliver more to us. In Jesus' name, apologies to non-Christians on the call. Thank you so much, everyone. So we will be dismissing now, but only those that are not waiting behind for